Good morning. This is Julia Kelly from Moonflower Studio Stitch, and I have wanted to talk about greens with you for a while, or grass, and multiple different ways you can use green to create interesting grass. So we're going to go through some of my projects that either are finished, or are a redo to do as a drum, or a release I'll be doing this winter. So this is my Fox in the Box series, my first one. This is the Fall Fox in the Box. And the ones that come that I designed, I sized to fit in a vintage wooden cheese box. And yes, Velveeta cheese and other brands used to come in vintage wooden cheese boxes in the, I don't know, 30s, 40s. I did, all of them are with just a Zweigart, Ada, and then DMC. So on this one, when you get the pattern, it has two greens that are significantly, the shades are, there's a lot of contrast in them. And it is two different stitches. So I literally just kind of did a zigzaggy swirly stitch with the lighter color, and then filled in the rest of the grass with a dark color with two DMCs. So not expensive, but you can get some interesting texture in your grass doing that. And then you can't really, it is somewhat slow going, because you have to pay attention to where the leaves are. And now that I've done it again, I'm almost thinking I might, well, see, the problem is you don't know where the leaves go until you put the grass in. Yeah, so it's a slow go. It's definitely the thing that's the most time consuming. But that is just using two different green DMC colors. Then this one, which you'll see I'm making the aspen longer, is for a drum. So a circular drum. This is all hand-dyed fabric. This is Ada, I believe it's cornstarch, and all hand-dyed floss. This is from Classic Colorworks, and this is, I think, pea pod. And it has some variation in it. And you'll see here some variation. But the way I did this, I kind of need to show you the sweater so you'll understand. So let's jump over to the sweater, which is Weeks Dye Works Lucky. This one, I went straight up and down with full X's. I didn't do the faster method, I think, where you do one half and then you come down the other way. This is where I did complete X's, and you see this shows the primo amount of variegation you get when you're using a thread. These are 3 greens that I use that have some variegation in them. I would say my experience is that when you are using hand-dyed thread that's been variegated, the way they do that, and let's see if I have something I can show you. Oh yeah, we'll use this. So here is just a white. So they literally, what they're doing is they're dipping maybe this end in a green, and then they take that out, and then maybe they dip this end in a different green, or a yellow maybe, and then maybe they dip the entire thing so that the center is lighter than the ends. There's some science to it, but it's also just kind of by how it got dipped. So, but basically, usually your variegation, like you can see in this, will have this one. I love these that have a different color in them, but usually you'll have a light, dark, medium. Probably you might have 4 values from light to dark in them. It just kind of depends on how they were dipped. But if you stitch full X's and you are going to get the primo amount of variegation. That looks cool in a sweater. That looks very cool in a sweater. That would not look so cool. It would not look natural on grass. So the thing about grass, because it's an organic thing, I did the swirly thing. So I stitched it freehand. I didn't follow the pattern. Like when I saw that I was in a yellowy part of the variegation, I kind of swirled it around. When I saw that I was in the darkest part of the variegation, I would X stitch across. I kind of traveled around. So then I would come back over and kind of swirl it to make it look like grass, because that doesn't look like grass. Then another way you can do it is the way I probably mostly do it. And this is my primitive turkey. This pattern is done up on my Etsy store, MF Studio Stitch, link through my website, moonflowerstudio.biz. This is how I usually do grass. And what this is this, okay, so this is Lucky from Weeks Dye Works. And this is Bean Sprout from Classic Colorworks. So what I did with this is I went up and down, but I didn't do complete X's. What I did was I just did half of it. I went up half and down half. And what that did is it gave a much more subtle effect. So put the X. So it gave a much more subtle effect to that the variegation. So so just because you have variegated thread floss doesn't mean that it needs to look the same. So here's a pun. There's many variations how you can use variegated floss. You can do full X's and go up and down or across, and you're going to get the most extreme amount of variegation as you can. You can go up and down or across, but do a half X one way and then come down. So it's blending it and it's just making it more soft. You can use them that way. Another way you can use them is if you're doing like grass or something natural and you don't want as extreme as that, then you can also travel around, just literally squiggly all over the place. And then you have to pay attention, like, okay, I am in a dark area, and squiggle around with the dark, and when it kind of changes to medium, squiggle somewhere else, and then when you come to the light, maybe you'll put the light in, just, do it freeform. Do it loosey-goosey freeform, and then you'll get something like this if you do that. Okay, so I hope that's insightful for you. This is up on my Etsy shop. It is Primitive Turkeys, and it comes with, if you do it on 18 count, it fits in a vintage cookie cutter. And I have directions on my my YouTube channel, Moonflower Musings with an S, how to finish on a cookie cutter. This is also up in my Etsy shop. This is Fox in the Box Fall. And I am getting ready to put up instructions how to finish it in a Velveeta. You can see this is a lot deeper. How I do that. This is a variation of that I was just playing with because it was fun, because of fall, that I was just stitching, but I will turn this into a drum. And then when I do, I will probably I don't know if I'm going to put directions up how to do a drum, because frankly, there's people who are better at it than I am that already have videos up. I'll probably link to their videos. I might modify it because I hand stitch everything. I don't have a sewing machine. But I will put the pattern up because you can see the fox is in the center instead of over to the side, and the trees are taller. So this will be another pattern option if you're wanting to do the drum with the fox. So there you go. So there's some things to consider when you're working with hand-dyed variegated floss, or if you don't have the hand-dyed variegated floss, how you can recreate that look using two greens from like DMC. Hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later.